Comin Correct.
Come correct.
These guys come correct.
Come correct.
Coming correct.
Come correct.
What's up, everyone? I'm Joshua Moore,
I'm Joe Yerkins.
I'm Ricky Rosado.
and this is Comin Correct, where we talk about our goals, hold each other accountable, talk about our career visions, and build community. In this podcast, we're talking about utilizing your resources.
And truly just maximizing your full potential as a college student.
Today we're going to start off by building community and just forming connections with the people that are around you. And the perfect start to that, I think, is how really Comin Correct came about. So I, as we said last podcast, pull up the clip right here, Ricky. I slid into Riley's DMs, you know what I'm saying? This is what I do. But no, yeah, I hit up Riley because he was an entrepreneurship major as well. We were both in business fellows, and it seemed like we were interested in similar things. He always had some cool kicks when we were in meetings, so I figured why not reach out to him. I would always see him walking around Mario, around Clifton. So I reached out to him, and he told me about RV, and I'm actually going to be at RV, as we mentioned last podcast, for the summer. So we're going to talk about reaching out to people, not being afraid to do that, and just kind of taking initiative and building that community, as we said in the beginning. So
Yeah. Well, thanks, Josh, for the quick intro, I guess. So to dive into the podcast and the logistics and what we're actually going to be discussing today, maximizing your full potential as a college student. So we're going to kind of decipher into four categories here. First category we're really going to emphasize on and talk about is connections and utilizing your network, and to the fullest potential that you have. So I guess, Ricky, do you want to, get started on, how you have, as a freshman, how you have utilized your network so far and all the connections that you've built?
Yeah, of course. So UC has this thing called Welcome Week. Welcome Week is where I met pretty much everyone I know besides these guys. Luckily, I was able to meet them through Riley, my brother, who is not here today. I can't believe we didn't
Photoshop
Riley. Riley also is a part of the podcast.
oh yeah, good shit. Riley finished the half Ironman.
Yes.
He's out in Texas right now.
Congrats, Riley. Shout out, John.
Yeah, Riley finished the half Ironman in 5 hours and 20 minutes.
That's crazy.
He swallowed a whole gallon of salt water the second he got the water. So he's a trooper. He made it all the way through. Yeah. Follow him on Strava. Follow all of us on Strava.
Yeah, you downloaded it, right?
I did download Strava. Yeah, if you guys don't know what Strava is, it's they can talk about us.
Yeah.
Probably more than I can, but
we'll have a whole podcast about fitness. We can talk about that.
We'll talk about it later.
But anyways, UC has this thing called Welcome Week. You're basically just forced to meet people. Like, that's it. If you don't get outside and go meet people, you're just gonna sit in your room and do nothing. That's what I did the first night I got here. Not gonna lie. I sat in my room, I was just making beats, and I was like, wow, this is college. This can't be it. And that same night, I went with my roommates, who I met for the first time, to this cafeteria center court. And
shout out center court.
And I happened to meet my best friend now, Danny Smorsky. This random dude wearing an OKC t-shirt comes up to our table. He's like, "Hey, can I sit here?" And I was like, "All right, yeah, fine." And he turns out to be super cool. I was like, "Okay, I'm vibing with this guy." And ever since then, we've hung out every week. So it's about making connections in college is really about finding that one individual connection, because once you find that one connection, that opens you up to maybe 100 different connections through them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For example, through Josh. The other day, me and Josh, we had a little bit of fun. We went out on Friday, and I happened.
Shout out Los Portillos.
Yeah, shout out Los Portillos.
Sponsor us. We're gonna buy your
Buy your But yeah, he brought his two friends that I'd never met before, but boom, just like that, two connections. During Welcome Week, me and Danny basically went to every activity that UC offered. So it was the first day I hung out with him, my second day in college. We went to this thing called, it was a silent disco. You guys did you hear about that?
I didn't know. I didn't know, but I've seen them.
Yeah, so basically everybody's given a pair of headphones, and you all just sit there, and if you don't have headphones on, it's super awkward.
Because
this is during Welcome Week?
Yes, this is during Welcome Week. And there's 3 different channels, and you just kind of search on each channel until a banger comes on. And there was this one moment during the silent disco where a crowd of people was just going crazy teach me how to Dougie. And it's just something like that. It was super fun. Everybody was involved.
Show them the Dougie, bro.
Not yet. Y'all don't get to see it. Maybe next podcast.
But yeah, no, UC had activities like that.
Famous.
And then something that was super uncomfortable, which is what we'll touch on next, was just going up to people and talking to them.
Yeah.
And the perfect place to do that, once again, was like a cafeteria, like center court at UC. We would just go up to like tables, mostly just girls at the tables. We weren't gonna get guys Snapchats, but yeah, we would shoot our shot with them, and like through them we would meet other people. But that was super uncomfortable because I have never been the guy to just go up and talk to girls. Like that is not my thing at all. It might be Josh's, but but yeah, that was super uncomfortable for me. But it taught me like things like how to introduce myself, like make people relate to me through just like talking about myself and like where I'm from. Because I mean, as much as people think that we're like super different as people, like we're actually like almost the same. Like we both came out of the womb, you know, like we both like
you're both at UC, you're both at college.
Right, you have a set of eyes, 2 years, like we're not that different.
I mean, more than likely if you guys are at Center Court socializing, like you guys are both probably freshmen.
Yeah,
you have a lot in common. So. But I guess, so thanks to Ricky for talking about, you know, your network, your connections, and how you ultimately like got started off the right foot. So I guess I'll kind of dive into my, you know, connections and network and how I, you know, kind of started to develop my brand and develop my network of people that I wanted to surround myself with. So I started off freshman year. I didn't know anybody. Me and my brother came to UC. Shout out John over there. Yeah, boy. Yeah, so we came to UC not really knowing anybody. We went to a pretty decent sized high school. So a lot of our high school friends went elsewhere. So we came into UC not really knowing anybody. So that was kind of a blessing in disguise. So he was in another dorm and then I was in a separate dorm. So it kind of allowed us to go 2 different directions and just make as many friends as possible. And then we, you know, sophomore year and junior year, we ended up living together, and then we kind of collabed our friend groups into one. So it was like a huge friend group, so like it combined in one because me and my brother were going separate ways.
Where'd you live?
So I lived in Daniel's freshman year, man. Yeah, Dirty Dance.
Where'd you live?
Calhoun. And then Johnny Boy lived in Calhoun, yeah.
Did you guys like do that on purpose? Because like you knew that probably was like bound to happen?
Absolutely, yeah. So
because like that's like your comfort zone. Like your brother,
yeah,
like
dude, yeah.
That's
you guys didn't know, we're twins. We're fraternal twins.
Really?
Yeah, and so we were out. So like we were together our whole lives. Like there was not a day that we didn't see each other.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it was really, you know, really uncomfortable for us, you know, going out of our way. And there was times like, we didn't see each other for about a week or 2. Yeah, and it was like, I was like, damn,
on the weekends.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, like I miss John. Like I haven't been this long without him before. So that's kind of how, you know, my network started to expand and how I started off. You know, not really professionally, but just like becoming more personable with others and, you know, just learning how to communicate and grow and adapt and evolve with my friend group. So that's kind of how, you know, it started. And then after freshman year, I knew I, you know, needed to obtain internships and co-ops and stand apart from my competition and set myself up for success that way. And, you know, that's exactly what I did. You know, by scheduling coffee chats with, you know, professors or, you know, future employers. Like that's one thing I've learned throughout college is never be afraid to reach out to people.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
You have no idea. You have no idea where that DM on LinkedIn is going to take you, or even hey, you're speaking of a LinkedIn ambassador. Hey, he wants to learn work for LinkedIn.
Give me a job.
Yeah. LinkedIn, give him a job. Yeah. But yeah, and that's kind of how I started to develop my network. And you know, I make it a commitment, and a goal of mine is to, you know, schedule at least 1 coffee chat a week, just meeting somebody new, because like Ricky said earlier, once you meet somebody new, you're automatically tapped into their network and all of their other, you know, expansions and people that they know.
Just like learning like other people's perspectives. I feel like for example, like when I met Dana for the first time, like that experience, I was like, I learned a lot about myself because I was like, okay, I really like these things about him, but I love those things about myself.
Yeah.
You know, so like being with other people, it gives you like so many different perspectives. Yeah. And it just teaches you about yourself.
No, yeah.
You know?
That reminded me, one thing I heard today, that dude from Astronomer, so the first Cincinnati unicorn, so like a business valued over $1 billion.
Oh yeah.
So they got like a Series C investment of $213 million. So like their overall evaluation, finance guy, so their overall evaluation is over.
Hey, shout out my roommate Sharif Johnson in the background.
Sharif.
Yeah, finance major.
But yeah, no, one of the key takeaways he said, like during the talk that I kind of took away from that, he was like, you're the average of the 5 most people you hang around, like the most people you hang around.
Yeah.
So I was just like really thought about like Comin Correct, just like the people that I see on an everyday basis, and like it really started for me. I don't know if you were done, but I'll let you.
No, man. I mean, this is just keep on going.
Yeah, it really started out for me like last year being around my roommate Drew Foster. He just really like implemented to me more of like the mindset part of like life, because I was so focused on like doing and like being perfect, and like just putting on like not a facade, just like putting on what I thought should be. But I think once you tap into like your mindset and your actual thoughts of like what you want to be and like what you want to do, then that like gives you the confidence to reach out to other people. So like that's when I started to step in, like reaching out to my professors, as Joe said. And that's one big thing that advice for freshmen, even though Ricky's taking.
Students, listen to this. Reach out to your professors. Their network is invaluable. So
fire emoji. But no, professors are on. Like your professors are willing to help you. They want you to reach out. If you ask them a question, they're gonna answer. And like Joe said, their network is like beyond insane. They've done the things we wanted to do. They know the people we want to know, and like they've been the places where we desire to be. So like one story that I don't know if we can post this, but like last semester, and I'd always like shoot him a message over LinkedIn or like say after class like, yo, we should grab coffee, like you're really interested in the things we go over in class. In one class he was like meet me after class, like your next class, and I'm like, okay, like what are we about to do? Like, so I get his number and he like texts me like, come to the lobby. And we go to his car, like, we go to the bowling alley, we get hamburgers and everything. He's just like giving me game on like entrepreneurship. Like he's formed so many businesses, he has his hands in like so many things. He's just like,
I was gonna say, and that's the thing, like people are, intimidated and kind of scared to reach out to their professors, but the thing is, they're people. Right. They all have minds. They all are in college, or they're college professors, but they're all the kind of equal. They're valued the same as us. And once you just tap into their network, kind of going back to what we were talking about with connections, like that expands their your personal network. And they're just people. Like you can keep it as informal as possible. Like, you don't have to be formal with it or anything. Like
those people are like they're almost like they're like kids in adult bodies.
Yeah.
Like they're the same as us.
Yeah. Really?
Literally.
No, really though. Like
because you're still in college. You're still in a college environment, so it automatically like levels you out with like people like us.
And the same thing like kind of correlated to employers. Like they're literally the same. Like they've all been in our position before. They've all been in our shoes before. Like they know exactly what we're going through. Like it's difficult to obtain a co-op. It's hard to get a 4.0. Like just think, like you have so many resources around you that you really need to understand how to utilize those resources and achieve the fullest potential for your college career.
I would say one of the like hitting off that, and we can go to the next topic. Like once you're building your network and you're constantly doing it, it kind of just feels like second nature. Like once you're doing it, it's kind of like the interview process for like co-ops. Yeah. Once you do like 4, 5, 6, or like double digits, you're kind of just like, oh, okay, I know the process. I know what questions they're gonna ask me. I know how I'm gonna respond. So you're gonna feel more comfortable as you do it. And so like anyone you reach out to, they're not just gonna be like, no, like I'm not doing whatever you asked me to do. Like they're either like respond to you in the way that you were like desired, or refer you to someone that can like provide you that. So just like becoming comfortable with that, and as you do more, like the better you get at it. As like what do they say, practice beats talent or whatever that's saying. It's like continue doing stuff and like continue just like getting after it, and you'll get better and you'll feel more comfortable.
Yeah, and like reaching out to somebody, like what's the worst that they could say is no. Like they don't want to get coffee.
And there's just one person.
Like,
no. Cut that out. Sorry, I just feel very passionate.
Yeah, no, that's I've reached out to probably over 30 or 40 professionals, just wanting to, just wanting to get coffee or wanting to just connect on a professional level, and they said no. But an important thing is to grow upon that. Like, don't get discouraged. Like people are going to say no to you in life. Like, I've gotten denied for a couple interviews. Like, I'm sure you guys have had too. Like, 100%. Just don't get discouraged, and that God has a plan for you. I'm bringing this faith into this, though, but yeah, just going off that, and I guess we can dive into the next topic.
Yeah, for sure. What was
Utilizing your resources on campus.
That's big.
That's big. So I guess one of the biggest things about resources is the organizations in general around Cincinnati. It's important to get involved in organizations just because, to become familiar with yourself and what your skill set is.
That's so true.
That's one of the things I've come to this conclusion on of being part of the. I'm a part of the American Marketing Association here at UC. So coming in the freshman year, I didn't know even what marketing was. Yeah. And so I just kind of.
I still don't.
So I just kind of threw it on a resume and I was like, marketing might better myself in the future, but. I really needed to understand and truly comprehend the true meaning behind it, and that's something that being a part of the AMA, the American Marketing Association, has done for me. So that's just one example of how organizations can be extremely beneficial, to the development of your future.
UC Athletics, to speak on organizations. UC Athletics offers a lot of students here, especially ones in media production. Roles doing TV, broadcast stuff for basketball games, football games, and that's tennis. Actually, not broadcasting for tennis. But yeah, to touch on that. So actually, before I got to UC, I reached out to the creative director here, and he
building connections.
You already know.
Resources. It's all the same thing.
Come on, boy.
But no, I reached out to him and I just asked him what he did, and I honestly didn't even know he was the creative director. He just happened to be. And he got back with me and sent me an application to become an intern for him. And I had no idea what that was gonna be like. I didn't know if I had to sit down one-on-one with him and interview, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna be so nervous.
Yeah.
But he just hopped on the phone with me one day and it was a Missouri number. I was like, okay, this is a spam call. And then I was like, wait a minute, I think I have an interview today. But he was super cool about it. He's like I was saying, he's one of those people that's he's a kid in an adult body. So super easy to get along with. He pulled me right into the team. And I remember going to the first meeting and I was around all these content creators, and I was I just felt kind of small at first until I realized that they're all interns. They're literally all interns. I thought they worked for the school.
They're the same level as you, man.
Same level.
Yeah.
And the things that I've taken away from that internship are way beyond just video content creation. I was assigned with making the track team's banquet video.
Damn.
And the coach, I had to work with the coach because the coach wanted it to look a specific way. The first time I did it, got no input from the coach at all. I did it, finished the whole thing, took me a good 3-4 hours. I get a message from the coach saying, well, we kind of want it structured like this, and this, and you need to put this, and this in it. I just scratched the whole thing, another 4 or 5 hours, and then another coach had something to say about it, and I had to redo it again. So I really learned how to just be patient and work with people.
Wow.
Time management too.
Well, yeah, that too. And you're gonna notice when you start reaching out and trying to make money, because obviously that's super important, paying your tuition and you don't. If you're getting help from your parents, just know you are blessed and you need to make sacrifices for them just like they do for you. But yeah, as you're reaching out to people, especially for content creation stuff, you need to understand that people are very picky. And you can't have an ego for what they have to say about your work, because at the end it's just gonna make you better.
100%.
Being critiqued is super important.
Constructive criticism, maybe.
But
I'll say, in addition to your internship with UC Athletics right now, just speaking more broad, internships and co-ops, it's such a valuable and tremendous experience that Cincinnati offers. That you're gaining that real world experience. I'm not saying that classrooms don't teach you informative information that'll be beneficial to your career, but
I think
we
are kind of seeing that.
But I'm saying the experience the hands-on experience that you get in the real world, I feel is what truly is going to correlate to your success in the future.
Yes, absolutely. That's why you go to college, we pay so much money, but we really are just learning how to be a real person,
Exactly.
Because I didn't want to go to college, honestly, because you guys know I'm super creative, and I was doing all that stuff before I got to college. So I had a serious talk with my parents, what if I just tried to do it on my own? And they were like, well, if you had to start tomorrow, how are you gonna do it? Where are you gonna start? And I was like,
dude, that's the thing. You're such a step ahead from all of your colleagues, because with like design and like videography and like content creation in general, like I'm not saying that professors can't teach you that stuff because they obviously can, but going back to what we were talking about earlier with like scheduling coffee chats and connecting with people one-on-one, like they can teach you all of this content creation and all of this work using Adobe products, like that will be beneficial towards your career if you want to pursue like the content creation route.
And it's not just like them helping you, like you're helping them.
You're helping
What I taught, I'm teaching Josh Premiere Pro right now, and what I've learned from like helping him is like as I'm teaching him how to do it, I'm learning myself. Cause like I'm not always paying attention to all the little things I do, but like as I'm teaching him, like sometimes I'll run into problems. Like what happened the other day? I was trying to figure out how to merge like 2 nested clips or something like that, and I had no idea how to do it. And I was like, well, you can do it this way, Josh. Or, I mean, you can do it this way too. And I was like, well, like this is something that I need to learn myself. So
I think one thing kind of hitting off. We'll do this and then I forget what the next topic is. You guys can start talking on that. But like utilizing your resources, like when you're at a big university like Cincinnati, I'm sure everyone listening or watching this goes to like a decently large university, or even if you don't, like a local university, there's so much like scholarships, funding, like internships that Ricky talked about. Your professors, like they know so many people, like they've been so many places, and just like I work at the Center for Entrepreneurship here at UC, and just the amount of like funding that they give to students based off like we have like this thing called an EQ pitch where people are like pitching their ideas, and I think the winning team gets like $2,000 towards their idea to like build it out and just like create it, or you can get like funding to go to conferences like around the nation, like anything you want to do and like the aspirations you have. Like the university's there to help you, and like you're paying so much in tuition. We're all paying so much money in tuition. Like the money's there, you just have to ask. It goes back to like forming connections. Like you're not gonna get anything. As Ricky said, like the first day he was here, he just stayed in his apartment and like he thought that's what it was. But like once he like ventured out and like kind of explored, that's when like everything,
fell in love with it.
Everything started falling into place. So like reach out, like look on the internet for like, I know we all look for scholarships. Like we reach out to people. Like if you want to go do something, even if it's like maybe like out of your range, still ask, because like your professors might like give you funding to go there. They might connect you with someone who's already been there and they're able to get you a pass there so you don't have to pay. I know like a lot of student organizations too. They'll like pay for your travel, your hotel, and your stay to go there. Or like students, they get discounts. So just like be aware of what's around you, whether it's scholarships, funding opportunities, internships. Just don't be closed-minded in what you do, and don't think like it's not for you, because like every dollar counts, like every inch counts, every effort counts. Just be aware of what's around you, and just don't be closed-minded to like what you're building and like what your goals are, because I mean they're there to help, and like once you look back at it, you'll be like, okay, that was a good move that I made, and then you're able to give game to other people. So I mean it's like a two sides of the coin.
Very informative.
All right. Next topic is productivity, structure, and ultimately just becoming uncomfortable.
Correct. So I guess kickstarting it with becoming uncomfortable. So what us three have recently done, which has caused us to really go out of our comfort zone and dive into somewhere within ourselves that we really haven't really tapped into before. And number one, starting this podcast.
Yes.
First of all,
absolutely.
Like I don't know about you guys, but a couple months ago when me and Josh were talking about our podcast, I'm like, dude, Josh, like this would be so dope to do.
Yeah.
But I just really don't know if it's gonna come together. And look at what we've accomplished right now. Like,
me and Joe, like we really were brainstorming for like I would say like a month or like a month and a half, just like at Panera, talking
Saturday
about
morning,
planning out all the dates, planning out all the topics, but not like doing. So I think like once we found like Riley and Ricky,
that's when we kind of formed Comin Correct with Ricky and Riley, and just we all started forming a podcast, and we're all really
it is wild.
We're all really pumped to see the future of it.
And like it was super uncomfortable at first, like especially the first time we did this recording, because like you can imagine what like sitting in front of a camera and talking to is gonna be like. But like, it's just not something you can imagine. Realistically, it's like going on a date almost. You can't predict how it's gonna go.
No, that's one thing I noticed. Just like having a camera during summer and just like holding it up like this and like recording yourself. It's just like you're like, dang, everyone's staring at me. Like, I wonder what they're thinking about me. Like,
come out,
and then just like, I don't know. I'm still working on it, but like, I'm getting better again to the point where it's like, okay, like it's kind of like presenting in class. Like, the people out there really don't care about what I'm saying or like the information I'm saying. So like, once you get to that level and like what Joe said, like hitting on faith a little bit, like once I found my faith and like got close to God, my confidence went like, it was like something, I can't even put it into words, but like once you get to that point, it's like the sky's the limit. Like once you don't care about, like once you're you like fully, like no one can stop you.
Love that.
For sure.
Love that.
Yeah, it like everything like lines up almost. Like as you become more uncomfortable, it like helps you develop the aspects of yourself that you don't like, and that just like forces you, it like pushes you to become the best version of yourself.
100%.
And that's where like productivity and structure kind of just fall in line with that. Like for example, like you can schedule your classes and you can go to them every day or however you schedule them, but like ultimately like you have so much time in between classes and after class, and like for me, like I don't have classes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so like what am I gonna do with that time, you know? And that's where like having a planner, having an agenda is super important. And like I know like we all kind of do it differently, but like I know you do Google Calendar.
I do.
You do
Microsoft Calendar.
Google's where it's at.
Put it over.
I'm more like traditional. I have like a printout like thing that I made. That would be nice. I have like a printout thing where I like write in like my to-dos for the day, and like
It's being old
what I've noticed is like the days where I don't hit on all of those, or I only get to like one or two of them, I do not feel good. No. So it's really like it really holds me accountable, especially knowing that these guys are working off their goals too.
Absolutely.
You know?
That's like, yeah, go ahead, Josh.
Real quick, like when Ricky said that, it like I've noticed it in myself, like when I don't like get my shit done, I'm like, it's just, I feel weird.
Yeah.
And, like I feel weird inside, and I'm like, bro, why do I feel like this? And like he just like, I knew I wasn't productive. But it's just like that innate feeling like you have to be productive.
Dude, like, yeah, it's like writing down, it's like what I like to do, like on Friday, like to conclude a week, I write down my goals and, you know, assignments for the next week, and say on Tuesday, it's 9 o'clock and I still have 2 things to do. Like, I physically cannot go to bed unless I get those tasks done for the day, or else I feel like a disappointment in myself. I feel like I didn't live up to my expectations that I originally set for myself.
Yes.
And that just strives me to be better, and, you know, to get better, because I know that I can do it, and I know that I have potential, you know, in myself, and that I see the future that God has in line for me. And I guess just to bounce off that with productivity, you know, outside of like going to class and outside of the organizations that you're involved in, I still have so much time throughout my day that, you know, you really have to find that balance in college. I think college, one of the topics in college that I found out that is, you know, pretty intriguing to me is balance.
Balance.
You know, how you juggle your time, whether it's, you know, we all have to go to classes, we all have organizations that we have to do, but like, what do you do like in between that? And, you know, what I do is I try to get to be a better designer. I try to be a better graphic designer, and, you know, I work out, exercise, and that's really how I balance my time. And, you know, one thing, a recent hobby that I've developed is kind of going back to Josh.
He motivated me.
So I motivated Josh to start his own TikTok channel.
I can't believe it. When he's like, bro, I'm telling you, I've never thought I would, like, cause I never downloaded TikTok. I never watched TikToks. I was like, I ever downloaded.
And that's how I was too. And I never thought I would start a TikTok account either, but just something within inside of me, like, I need to be a better designer. I need to be a better videographer.
It really does help.
I wanted to be, you know, I want to pursue content creation.
That's using it the right way. Like, we didn't get TikTok because we didn't want to use it the wrong way.
Exactly.
Scrolling for hours. There's
like,
no reason.
I maybe scroll on TikTok for like 10 minutes at max. Like I utilize it to benefit myself and to enhance my skill set for the future. So like, that's just saying, like, do something with your time outside of just like play video games, or just doing meaningless work that's not going to benefit you whatsoever. Like listen to a podcast, learn something new, like read a book.
Yeah.
It's like those are hacks, honestly.
Yeah.
Listen to podcasts it's almost like a multiplier for your brain almost.
Yeah, no, that's one thing I noticed because when I listen to when I'm working out because when you're working out you're low key thinking about just lifting, but then you're listening to it, so sometimes you're okay, that's a really good point. And then sometimes you're like I'm getting after this lift, I'm squat. I'm not thinking about him talking about index funds or something. A couple days later you'll be you'll hear something, you'll think subconsciously oh, I heard that when I wasn't really listening, but I remember speaking on it. So it really helps with vocabulary, just overall general knowledge. I don't know where we started talking about, but yeah, that's something I noticed.
So it's
podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, but one thing I wanted to add though, I know we're talking about a lot of stimulation and productivity, but you need to there needs to be times where you don't do anything.
100%. Kind of going back to what I was talking about balance earlier. It's important to be as productive as possible, but there also has to be a time where you take to yourself and then you let your mind relax.
Yeah, chill with your friends, go out to eat, go on walks, play a video game, or do something that you enjoy.
I'm not saying don't play video games or anything, but it's all about how you juggle your time.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel the best day worldwide to do that is just Sunday. I feel that's always what Sunday's been for. That's the day. Yeah.
What's up?
That's the whole purpose. It's the rest day. It's the Sunday rest day. Take that time to just maybe plan your next coming week. You guys are clowns, bro.
It reminded me isn't that DJ Khaled bless up? Am I tweaking? Is he gonna say that?
I don't know, bro.
If he is, please put that after that.
Maybe.
That shit's hilarious.
But yeah, we should probably wrap.
Yeah. So I guess just to wrap up, so the last topic that we kind of touched on was getting uncomfortable. Going out of your comfort zone, scheduling coffee chats, doing stuff to be productive that your future self would thank you for.
Structure.
And developing structure and balance within your life. So I guess the last topic was, like I said, becoming uncomfortable. And the first two topics that we touched on were utilizing your resources to your max's fullest potential, and then connections was the first one.
To round us out, I thought of the question of the week.
Let's hear it.
And so for Ricky, it'll be different for kind of high school wise, but from freshman year till now, what would you say is the biggest difference you've seen in 2 minutes? Just hitting it off very quickly, or just
in yourself, biggest difference.
Yeah, or just in your life, or just how you think, and maybe it's not even really deep, but just I don't know, maybe something you enjoy or something you've seen. So yeah, Ricky, you can kick it off.
All right. Yeah. So
2 minutes. I'm timing your guys.
Something high schoolers don't focus on is being in the moment. Just being present, taking in the moment. Because listen, time actually flies.
It's crazy.
As much as your parents and your family.
We're about to be seeing you,
That's nuts. As much as your parents tell you to just take in the moment and not look so far ahead, it's really hard to listen until you get there and you're oh my gosh, now I want to go back. I never thought I'd get to this point, but time can only move forward. So just take everything in. I went on a walk today with my dog, and it was the first time where I was you know what? I'm not gonna bring my phone. I'm not gonna bring anything. I'm just gonna focus on me and Marty going on this walk.
Love that.
And I just felt really good. I was focusing on just my breathing, my steps on the ground, my feet on the ground. Taking in those senses, you gotta be grateful for the fact that you have feet on the ground, that you're alive, that you woke up this morning. That's something you have to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Take it in the moment and be grateful for it.
You better listen to this, man.
This is fire.
And don't look too far forward. But yeah, that was
under 2 minutes too.
Really?
So, so I guess I'm gonna dive into it. I'm gonna touch on this real quick, but so it's really gonna be circulating around looking into your future and not dwelling on the past. All right.
That's one of the hardest things.
So it's important to a lot of people say what would I say to my past self that my future self would thank me for, or how was my past actions going to affect my future. I wish 3 years ago, I wouldn't have done what I did. If I, started this podcast and I started reading 3 years ago, look where I would be. Don't look into the past. I'm grateful for all of my past experiences that I've taken because they've shaped me into the person I am today. Like, I'm not going to change my past for anything, you know?
Sure.
So that's what I just kind of wanted to touch on. Like, I'm grateful for who I am and that my past experiences have shaped me into who I am. And I'm not gonna, if somebody were to ask me, what would you change about your past self? Because I know that's a common question. I would change nothing because that's truly shaped me what I am today. So, looking into the future, I just hope to, expand and evolve and grow my skill set as much as possible. So, Josh, kick it off.
Yeah, I'll finish her off. So the one thing, I think I realized it a couple of weeks ago. I was talking to Drew Foster, shout out Drew, he's gonna be on the podcast soon. But it was like, I was like, this is the first time like in my life this year where I felt like I'm not fully in control because God's in control, but like I've been in control of like where I'm going, what I'm doing, and being intentional like with my life. Because like once freshman year, like you're just getting into the scene, except if you're Ricky, you're GOAT. I was gonna cuss, but I didn't. You saw that. Except if you're Ricky, you're GOAT. But like freshman year, you come in and you're just like new environment. You just like that's what freshman year is for, like to take it in and just like live in the moment. Sophomore year, as Joe said, like you're looking at internships, but like you're still kind of young. You're still learning. But like this year, I feel like I'm still forming like my purpose and like what my overall mission in life is. Mm-hmm. But like the moves I've made, the connections I've made, like the relationships I've made have really like pushed me in the direction where I want to see myself and like just kind of bringing it full circle, like Comin Correct, content creation, like starting YouTube, like this is where I want to be. So like I'm still getting there, but like I really feel good about it.
You have a tremendous support system behind you. So.
My ain't nothing better than my boys. Yeah, this is the second podcast. Shout out Riley, you're a GOAT, bro. Keep doing the Ironman. I'm gonna do a marathon soon. I decided that.
All right.
I'm gonna do a marathon or half marathon soon.
Hey, fitness pod coming soon.
Yes,
with Riley. Riley will be here this time. Fitness guru.
But
right.
Yeah, I guess
snap out of here.
Let's do it.
All right.
This concludes the second podcast. Comin Correct. See you soon.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Thanks for tuning in this week, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We look forward to hearing back from you guys. Let us know what you want to see in the comments below. Ricky's social links are here. We got Josh's social links over here. Then we got Joe's right below. And then we're going to have my social links here. So go follow us. Go follow Comin Correct and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys next week.